We are back after a very long hiatus. I thought it was longer, but apparently the last stream we did was a month ago.
Yes, I've been in prison for a month. Begging to get on.
Oh, God.
Begging to get on.
I'm just a cruel ogre. Well, I am a gremlin with a conscience who lives under a bridge, so that's probably in line with my character to keep you imprisoned against your will. YouTube, this is a joke. This is a joke. Oh my God. How's everyone doing?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I mean, I haven't. I'm sure you've wished everybody Happy New Year.
I don't think I did. I think I forgot. So XCAL has to get on more. Oh, how's your book case been going?
It's going fine. It's going fine. It's the project that never ends. I had to do 2 repairs. I think I figured out why I had 2 of the styles wrong length. I think that I have a tape measure that's not measuring the same as the other ones.
Oh,
so it's been kicked out to the curb.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Oh my gosh. Rutro, Eclectic Mima, Alexis, Suzanne, Julie guessed it right on the book. Which book are we on? She said book 10, book 11. I forgot, but I'm here for it. And it's book 10. Book 10, small favor. His mic is off. Oh my God. I'm sorry, XCAL. You're on now.
Okay.
Oh my God.
You sure?
You're on now. You can see your number 2.
We don't know. We don't know, but they know.
They know. I'm sorry. Yikes. Say Happy New Year again, XCAL.
Nope.
No more good wishes for everybody.
Nope.
I know.
One Happy New Year and that's it.
Oh, jeez.
That's it.
Oh,
we're done.
jeez. Come on.
I'm Mr. Grumpy today. What can
You
I say?
are grumpy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But you did go get us bagels from the Jewish bakery this morning.
I did go get bagels from the New York bagel store, the Jewish bakery.
Yeah.
I was a little bit worried that they were going to be closed because it's Saturday, but they were open. They had all the Spanish people there working. All the Jewish guys were at temple.
The synagogue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or temple, the shul or what?
Shul.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I'm not being disrespectful.
I mean, I feel like I'm worried every time you speak. So
I understand.
Oh my God.
No, I've turned over a new leaf.
What's the new leaf?
No more burning down the channel. At least for
I think that's why everyone likes you. It's because you try to burn the channel down.
I have figured out that it's fireproof. I can't do anything to burn down the channel. Everything I say, they like.
Our fire chief isn't here, so you could burn down the channel today.
Nope.
Which is kind of appropriate since Harry Dresden is kind of fire-liking individual. What's that called? What's it called when you like to burn stuff?
An arsonist.
An arsonist. I would say Harry Dresden's kind of in the arson-esque category.
Well, he does tend to burn down buildings. That's for sure.
Oh, congrats for Orthodox New Year. Yes,
that's
you can't have that.
We're a week into the Orthodox New Year. It was the 7th, right? Yeah. The 7th is their Christmas, if you will.
The Coptic Orthodox?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, all the Orthodox.
Well, Orthodox. Sorry.
Russian Orthodox.
Pyromaniac. Yes. Pyromaniac.
I prefer the term arsonist.
Sorry, YouTube. It's a joke. Just ignore him. Oh my God.
They get on not to ignore me. That's why they're here, is because I'm here.
That's true.
Huh?
Everyone's like, "Where's XCAL?
Where's XCAL?
Where's Toot Toot? Where's XCAL? Locked up at where he should be in the garage."
Duct tape to the wall somewhere.
God. As if I could duct tape you.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. You're too sensitive to do that.
No, I'd probably just have to tranquilize
you.
I'd probably have to tranquilize you first,
and then
loving and I would duct tape you. Then I would take a picture.
And then you feel too guilty after you duct tape.
I would take a picture and take a video. Then I would cut you down.
You so would not do that.
I would take a picture. Live chat would want to see that. YouTube, that was a joke. Literally, I'm just gonna do a running banner at the bottom. YouTube, everything we say is for entertainment purposes only.
Whatever. Well, I mean, they're not gonna monetize us anyways.
He's the hired help, he's the hired help, so just ignore him. Oh my God. So Small Favor. The book. You know, when I was scrubbing through trying to find which book we were on, we do not talk about the books very often. We get on squirrel trails frequently.
Yes.
On this channel.
She went to a whole, she was flipping through a whole video and couldn't find any reference to any of the Dresden content on that video. And it was like a 2-hour video.
I know. I don't know.
We do tend to get off on sidetracks. That's why we need Tutu here.
I know. Tutu's for sure coming next week, though.
Yeah. Okay.
He's on a trip. He's on a trip.
He's
with
on
the
an
fam bam.
extended vacation.
Yeah.
Did the fam go down too?
Yep. They're all there.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, if that case, then that's fine.
This has all been a
He
joke.
doesn't really know that much about Dresden anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, because he doesn't read the books. He listens to them.
God. He doesn't. He doesn't really know.
Oh, I'm finally ahead. I'm on book 11. Let's go. Let's go. Suzanne's here for the shenanigans. So
Yeah, I read book 18 for the, I don't know,
12th time.
7th time or something like that. I don't think I've read it 12 times. But I've read it several times.
Yeah.
Several times.
Spoilers. No spoilers.
Such a good book.
Oh my God.
Such a good book.
This is your first book club? Have you ever heard of Harry Dresden?
Whose first book club?
𝐔𝐄 𝐃.
A noob. We need to have like a little noob emoji or something like that. So we
have little squirrels, but I don't have a newbie.
Okay.
I don't have a little
That's
noob.
fine. I mean,
we don't have enough members.
Being a noob is fun.
Yeah, we don't have enough members to get the next emoji. The next one can be a noob. So, okay. Do you want to give a recap of Harry Dresden? Like, if someone hasn't ever read the books before, and like what's interesting about it?
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
So we know that Harry's a wizard. He's kind of had a very challenging life. Orphaned at 6-ish, I think. His mom died when he was born, and as we have already found out, was killed by Lord Wraith,
who's a vampire.
Who's the White Court, the king of the White Court vampires until he's not a king anymore. Now he's the king in name only. Because his daughter Laura has taken over, and was orphaned at 1st grade, I think, something like that. His father was we found out his father was killed as well, and he was fostered by a wizard who ended up being a black wizard and tried to convert him over to be his thrall / enforcer, who he subsequently killed in a battle, burned him to death, and has been on the outs with the White Council after that, because he broke one of the laws of magic, the first law of magic, which is killing someone else with magic,
even though it's self-defense.
So technically he got put under what's called the Doom of Damocles, which is a kind of a probation situation, and went to was sent to work under another wizard called Ebenezer McCoy, who at that point in time we really don't know more than he's a very experienced wizard and one of the wizards on the White Council. He actually sits on the council. Book 3 is when he actually gets elevated to the senior council.
Yeah.
Book 3 or book 4? No, book 4.
Book 4, because that's
book
the
4. That's
one
the
that gets good.
The book 4 is he gets elevated to the senior council. We don't find out who Ebenezer McCoy is in more detail until it changes.
Yeah.
Have we given that away yet?
No, but I don't want to give too many away because 𝐔𝐄 might want to read the books.
And so we follow Harry through his kind of growth as a wizard and an investigator. He investigates lots and lots of issues and fights for truth. Harry definitely is someone who protects the people that need to be protected, and so he finds himself oftentimes doing things
for free.
Well, unfortunately he's not a very good. He doesn't have a very good income, because of the fact that he does tend to work for less than
the going rate,
less than premium wages at times.
Yeah.
And has been and constantly is getting tricked and weaseling his way out of various issues with a bunch of bad guys, whether they be she or the Denarians or whomever.
Marconi.
Yeah, John Marconi
Well,
is.
John Marconi is kind of a weird person.
John
but-
Marconi is actually kind of the he's the crime lord of Chicago, and he's actually one of the main figures in this book. In fact, one of the things that Dresden's doing in this book is trying to find him because he's been kidnapped.
Yeah, but in book 1, Marconi tries to pay Harry Dresden to not look into
A murder,
a
double
and
murder.
you
it
find
turns
out kind of who Harry Dresden is when he basically tells Marconi to F off and like goodbye. I will. I'm
And they
not
have a
gonna get
soul
bought.
gaze.
Yeah, they have a soul gaze,
Yeah.
and
Find out who each other is.
but you find out that Harry Dresden can't be bought, and if he thinks that you're trying to buy him, he becomes even more stubborn
Yeah,
about stuff.
He definitely has an issue with authority. He
Sure.
definitely has an issue with authority, whether it be human authority, wizard authority, spiritual authority, whatever the case might be. He's kind of the kid in the back of the class mouthing off, and getting sent to the principal's office because he said bad things to whomever.
Sure.
So he spends most of his time in trouble. However, having said that, he is a pretty powerful wizard, and we find out that the White Council, because of the fact that Harry started a war with the Red Court of Vampires, and they need extra wardens who are the police force of the White Council, they actually recruit Harry to be on the wardens. He does this. In Deadbeat was when he gets promoted. And he does this reluctantly, but he does work as a warden. However, having said that, one of the things he doesn't do is he doesn't chase down warlocks. We know that's
he
one
has
of the
put
things.
his foot down. He does not do
He
that.
won't do that. Yeah.
But also, you have to tell them that the wardens aren't just the police force; like they are stronger, power wielding wizards. Like you have to have a certain amount of juice to be a warden.
Correct. But they're not. But it's they pick wardens or they pick wizards to be wardens who are stronger by nature. There's nothing magical, extra magical that you get.
Just stronger.
Other than they do have some accoutrements that they use, which Harry doesn't get.
Yeah.
He doesn't get a sword, and the reason he doesn't get a sword is because
the person who makes him can't make him anymore.
Yeah, she can't do that. So Captain Lucio has been put into the body of a 25-year-old, and the body doesn't have as much magical moxie, if you will. And so at this point in time, she can't make the magical swords for the wardens anymore, so Harry doesn't have one.
Yeah.
So he uses a magic blanket. No, that's not true. No, he doesn't use a magic blanket. He no, he's got his badass leather coat, and
he used to have a fallen angel.
not anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yikes.
He and Lashiel
kind
broke
of
up.
Well, she got blasted out of his brain to protect him from a psychic attack from an outsider.
She suicided herself. She martyred herself so that Harry would get through a psychic attack, and we find out. No, we don't. Not yet.
Yeah. Careful, XCAL.
No, sorry. It gets a little bit confusing when you've read all the books so many times and listened to them so many times that everything kind of blends together, and you inadvertently drop spoilers when you don't mean to.
And he has a rope. He has a magical unicorn rope. Remember, he has a rope.
Yeah,
but we're not talking about that.
He doesn't really do any magical. No, on this. Well, there's some magical unicorn stuff that he tries to do, or he starts to do, but they get interrupted.
Oh God!
With Captain Lucia, right? When they're looking at the ley lines on the map.
Yeah. Okay, I don't want to talk about this with you. I'm not going to make eye contact with my dad anytime we don't
talk about any of the SEX or blue items in the books. We call them magical unicorn events, and that way DC doesn't have to get embarrassed because their father's talking about that kind of stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it would kind of creep me out too.
Yeah. Jeez. Oh, we forgot to say hi to. You're streaming to 4 destinations today, XCAL.
Up, down, left, and right. What?
Yeah, Facebook,
North,
YouTube,
South, East,
X.
and West.
Well, X is kind of a dumpster fire, but also we're streaming to Instagram, X, which used to be Twitter.
So
YouTube
does this mean I get paid 4 times as much as I usually get paid?
4 times 0,
Okay.
which is 0. I'm sorry.
This is this. I'm just getting worked. That's all I have to say. I'm
Okay.
getting worked.
So now we're at this book, Small Favor.
So small favor. So basically, what happens, or the theme, if you will, or the premise of the book is that it's winter in Chicago, and John Marconi's missing, and Mab, who is still owed 2 favors by Harry,
Queen
right?
Mab.
Queen
Some
Mab.
people don't know who Mab is.
She's the queen of the winter she, the queen of air and darkness, the queen of the winter she.
Yeah.
And so there's winter she and the summer she, and I guess it's I don't know if there's a winter he and a summer he, but anyways.
Oh my god. Your jokes. Oh my god.
See, LGBTQ
Stop
F.
it. Stop it.
LGBTQF.
Stop it.
Because the Fae are in there too. The fairies are in there too, right?
Yes, just
No.
keep moving past.
Okay, fine. I know. Don't burn down your channel.
Oh my god.
Apologies to all the LGBTQ plus people that are on the stream right now.
God.
But I mean, it's kind of how I roll. What can I say? I thought that was pretty good. LGBTQF plus. Well, she is the queen of the winter she. What about all the winter he's that are out there?
Oh my god, stop it.
Do they not
Stop
report
it.
to her?
Just ignore him. Where's the mute button? We should have kept him on mute.
Anyways, Mab in the midst of freezing Harry's eyeballs and stuff.
There it is.
Puts him in.
Burn. There goes my channel.
Puts him on her second favor, which is he needs to find Marconi, which really is pretty distasteful for Harry because of the fact that he doesn't like John Marconi. He doesn't want to do anything to help him in any way, shape, or form. But he's required by the fact that he does owe her 3 favors, and when he does the 3 favors, he's completely rid of Queen Mab forever.
And the winter she, totally.
Yes,
right. But like, I'm just saying, like his mortgage of debt was bought by Mab,
but it was bought by Mab from his godmother,
who's imprisoned or was imprisoned.
She was. Whether she is still or not, at some point in time between that book and when we see her again, she'll be out of prison.
Yeah.
And it's not really a prison. She's being she's kind of going through some therapy, some winter she therapy, which involves ice and pain and lots of bad things. But she's trying to be they're trying to heal her from an interaction with Nemesis.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. Do we know about Nemesis?
No, it's a freaking spoiler.
Well, tough. Anyways.
Oh my god.
Anyways. This book has one of the best Dresden Jim Butcher weasel outs ever. One of the best, I think. It might be the best, but one of the best. So Harry's kind of a weasel. What I mean by that is that he just tries to get out of things that he promises things and then looks for ways to avoid doing the thing that he promised. And so he's notorious for this. He's done it to Leanne and she several times.
Yes.
The Leanne and she, so she, his godmother, he promised himself to her and has weaseled out of it 1, 2, either 3 or 4 times so far. One of the times he literally lost his power or was losing his power, and his girlfriend ended up giving a year of her memory so that she wouldn't continue the attack.
Mm-hmm.
It actually wasn't, and as it turns out, it wasn't really her that was attacking. It was the fact that he had broken his promise so many times that his power was literally working against him.
Yeah.
But having said that, he's got a way of trying to avoid doing the things he says he's going to do. And in this situation, he and his cohorts are up against probably the best anti-hero antagonist in the series.
Yes.
I think
Nicodemus. Nicodemus is an awesome evil dude.
So
evil
he's
person.
and
Evil
we all
guy.
know he's head of the denarians, who are the 30 coin holders.
Yeah, so if people aren't Christian or don't know any about that, Jesus was betrayed with 30 pieces of silver by Judas.
So Judas, one of the disciples at the time, went to the head of the Jewish religious hierarchy, and for 30 pieces of silver, he betrayed him. And so those 30 pieces of silver now show up in this book, along with the 3 nails that Christ was nailed to the cross with, now show up in this book as foes. So the 30 pieces of silver are inhabited by spiritual demons and
Fallen angels.
Fallen angels. Well, that's what they are.
Well, I mean, just saying, like, I just wanted to paint the picture that their power, like, and you know what I'm saying, like, sometimes you think about, because Harry calls up demons in his basement in the
that's
books
true.
and stuff.
That's
so
true.
I was trying to communicate that, like, super powerful evil creatures are in the coins.
Yes. Fallen angels, when they fall, they become demonic angels, if you will. And so these guys are basically give their power over to people to pick up the coins. Nicodemus is one of the first, and he has Anduriel, who's the head of the fallen angels, and she's or he.
They.
Not
something.
really. Yeah, their pronouns are a little bit suspect.
Oh my god.
So anyways,
XCAL.
and there are 30 of them, but they aren't all available all the time, and they don't necessarily all work together.
And why is that? Why are they always available all the time?
No, they aren't always available all the time.
Sorry, why aren't they available all the time?
Because theoretically, for at least a couple of reasons. First of all, they don't all work together, so they aren't all hanging out in the same demonic angel gang.
Yeah.
And secondly is that the church does end up getting access to the coins from time to time, because the holders are killed, and they take the coins and turn them over to the church. They meaning the Knights of the Cross,
who are badass.
Yep, they are
badasses.
They
collectively,
are. And we see Michael in this one, and we see Shiro's not here because he's already dead. And they still haven't. They don't have the Sword of Hope. Harry hasn't given it to the next person at this point in time. He's holding it for them because they've put it in his responsibility. It's his job to basically find the next knight and give it to them.
Let me pause your storytelling really quick. Your incredible storytelling got someone to join membership. So thanks so much, Ashley.
Don't we have like something to play for them or something?
We do, but we're not gonna be able to hear it. So you're gonna have to just watch the sound bite.
Okay.
You ready?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm quivering with anticipation.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
Horatio, go.
24 seconds left.
Oh, that's great.
Headmaster.
Wow.
You're gonna mess up.
Am I hearing it now?
No, you're not. Just leave me alone.
Pleased.
Hello, sir. Heard you wanted to see me.
I'd like to say
it's a squirrel.
Welcome to Illyria.
10 seconds
Welcome,
left,
welcome, 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 welcome to
All right.
Illyria.
2.
I just wanted to have you in to say
Sweet.
Welcome to Illyria. That's from She's the Man, if you're wondering. And yes, we were talking over it because my dad has no self-control.
And your point is what?
And the point is what? No, there's no point. There's no point. Only shade. So
okay. So we're gonna be meeting the other Knight of the Cross.
Yep.
And so both he and Michael are going to be in this book. They're included in this book. They show up to battle the Denarians. The cool thing about so those are the situations. The coins have been turned over to the church, but they don't really stay with the church. Harry makes a great point to Michael at one point in time about the fact that whether the church uses the coins for various coin-operated machines and stuff like that because they get back out into the world so often.
Yeah.
And 𝐓𝐿 is the last major coin that we know of. Of course, Harry, after 𝐓𝐿 dies, or the head version of 𝐓𝐿 dies, Harry digs up the coin, gives it over to Michael. They turn it over to the father, and goes on into the church hierarchy. But we haven't seen the last of 𝐓𝐿.
Correct. And yes,
Mini spoiler.
If anyone's confused, the angel is inside the coin. If you touch the coin, you get an imprint of the angel in your brain.
And eventually, as you kind of
make concessions,
as you do things to encourage the relationship, the angel gets more and more and more power or authority, whatever the case might be, in your life.
And if you pick up the coin, that means that you've agreed to if you hold on to it, because Harry touched it, then he realized what he did because he was blocking mini Harry from touching
Correct.
the coin.
Michael's son.
And then he wrapped it in a cloth
and buries it.
And buried it
in concrete under his summoning circle in his basement. So it's as far away as it can get without.
She watched the Harry Dresden TV show.
I'm so sorry for you.
She finished the whole series. She finished the whole the entire book series. So she was desperate for so far. Yeah.
Yeah. 12 months is the next book that's coming out. And I'm really excited for that one.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Especially with what happened in book 18. Sheesh.
Yeah. The piggy bank seems to leak. Yes. They seem to have a leak.
Yes, there is a leak in the piggy bank. It gets broken rather frequently.
I love a good basement story.
So at this point in time, we have we find out that there are several Denarians in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So Harry and Thomas, his brother, go off-roading on the snowy streets of Chicago, and they slide over to find
John Marcone, right?
Well, they don't find John Marcone. They find two of his his minions, Guard and
Hendricks.
Nathan Hendricks. We find out Hendricks' first name in book 18. So Nathan is a little bit of a spoiler.
Yeah, it is a spoiler.
Yeah. And Guard at this point in time. What?
Not staying, but glad to see the return of the king. I should have made him the pretty princess crown. He could have worn that for the stream.
Yeah, I could have.
How many pages per book? Like 300 pages per book.
But nobody reads them anymore, anyways.
Oh my God, stop it!
It's only important if you read.
Listen, James Marsters reads them, and they're awesome. I read the books too, and I love just listening to a book so I can crochet at the same time, or knit, or
do woodworking.
Video game, or do woodworking.
Yes.
Homeboy hasn't been reading all week. He's been listening to him in his wood shop. Oh my God.
As I say all kinds of sprinkler words while I make mistakes.
You mean how many hours are the book? Yes, yes. How many hours are the books? Like they're like 12 hours a book. 12 or 13 hours a book.
Yeah, that would be that's probably about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. The pages worth. I mean, I've got several here in our study. 300, 350, something like that.
Yeah.
You know. It's pretty light reading. It's pretty light reading. The cool thing about it is that it's the reading is a little bit deeper than you think, because you find out so many things that are hidden in the books as you go through them later. So the more things that happen, the more that reflects back to things that happened previously that you realize have
meaning.
There are threads that pull at all that stuff.
Yeah, so the books, like the more you read, the more you realize like how good of an author Jim Butcher is, because like he ties stuff back.
Yeah, he's basically built the whole universe and the entire breadth of the Dresden series at this point in time, and he's just filling it. He's just filling in the blanks as he goes. So it creates a really, really cool tapestry.
Yeah.
Really cool tapestry.
Yeah.
And so in this book we get the new monster is Gruffs.
Yes, I love him.
I
love him. I'm
Yep.
sorry, I love him.
He gets beat up by the the Billy Goats Gruff and the troll and all that kind of stuff. So we find out that the Gruffs are summer hitters.
Yep.
They're so basically summer and winter are opposed to each other, and so there's always balance on both sides. Summer and winter are balanced.
You forgot one thing.
What's that?
I guess you're gonna tell us about it though, because it's gonna show up in the book. But Harry has something as a gift from.
Yeah, but we don't find out until the aquarium.
I know, but they don't know. I mean, I guess if they haven't. Okay. All right. Continue.
No, go ahead. What? You
No,
want to talk about Soulfire?
No, I want to talk about the little pin that he got from the Summer Queen.
Oh,
as a gift in the proven guilty.
Yep.
They all got it because Michael saved. Wait, no. Whatever in proven guilty, they all got a gift of this little.
Yeah, Michael doesn't
pin.
get one.
Michael doesn't get one. They got the pin.
Mhm.
Ramirez. Did Ramirez get one?
No.
I'm just Harry got one.
Only two. Harry got one.
Uh-huh.
And the main ward. Hold on.
Morgan.
Morgan got one.
Yeah. Okay.
So Morgan gets one because of the fight against the Red Vampires.
Yeah.
Where he almost gets to the king.
Yep.
And then
Which
Harry
is
gets,
awesome. You know how much you hate Morgan, and then like when he literally almost like gets to the Red Court King, like dang Morgan, like holy crap! I thought it was such a cool scene in the book. Sorry, continue.
No, that's okay.
But anyway, so
Harry gets one because of the attack on Arcturus Tor.
Yeah,
and which was a really really cool description because physically the description that was made when the summer lady comes to the White Council and presents these. Sorry about that. I'm just tightening it up a little bit. And presents the pins. She basically fabricates this story about what Harry did when he went to Arcturus Tor. Technically, all of it's true, but the reality is none of it was true. I mean, Harry was there doing something totally different, but the reality is that he did help Summer, and so now he has a gift from Summer, which isn't maybe the gift that we think it is. What we find out about the 𝐔𝐒, both Summer and Winter, is that they can't lie.
They're like politics. I mean, yes to no.
But that's more of that's a line that has lots of sides to it. They don't specifically lie, but they can weasel their way around things. So we find out that Harry's weaseling is really very apropos when it comes to the 𝐔𝐒, because the 𝐔𝐒 do that all the time.
Yeah.
So Harry has this pin.
Yep.
And we find out in the course of this book that the pin actually can be used as a tracker, and that's how the Gruff continue to find Harry.
Yeah.
And so so he does another cool thing with the pin.
At the end of the book, he does a really cool thing with.
No, in the middle of the book. I'm not talking about the donut. I'm talking about the bag of catnip.
Oh yeah. Sorry about that. I just think the donut is so cool.
Yeah,
the donut is so cool.
The donut's the best.
Oh my
gosh. That's the best. And so every time he beats the Gruffs, bigger Gruffs come back to get him.
Which is awful. You're just like, oh, come on, dude. Like literally it's like it feels like that.
So he beats the Gruffs in the back of the carpenter's house. And
oh, I love this. Sorry.
and so the next bunch of Gruffs catch him when he's with Mab.
Okay, but doesn't Charity come out with
the nail gun?
The nail gun. Listen, okay, so he's skipping over parts. So the Gruffs attack the carpenter's house, or the back of the carpenter's house. Charity, Michael's wife. Michael is a Knight of the Cross, and Charity
but he's not around.
He's not around.
Yeah.
Charity comes out with Michael's nail gun because Michael Carpenter is a carpenter. He comes out with a nail gun and starts shooting the 𝐔𝐒 with iron-filled nails. And it's the best. Like I keep saying, there's so many good scenes in this book that I mean, if you haven't read the series, like get to book 4 and then you're gonna be fly through them because they're so good. So
So yes, basically Harry is the color in the scene while Charity does all this
yes.
smiting. She's the smiter in the scene.
Well, I mean, she came after her kids, so like no
Yeah,
holds barred.
but,
Like
hey.
she's gonna bring the fire.
And Charity
in
brings
the
it the
eye.
whole book.
Yeah, she does.
She
She
brings
does.
it the whole book.
Oh my god.
But his job is so the next scene, not the next scene, but as Harry is trying to figure out what's going on, he meets up with Mab.
Yeah.
And of course, it's in a snowstorm in Chicago, very, very, very cold, etc. Mab is there, and Mab can't talk.
Yeah, because she's
She
super.
she has her Grimalkin, who's one of her big cats, if you will. Think of it like a cat. So Grimalkin is her companion, and it's Grimalkin that's doing the talking because she's so angry.
Yeah, and if she talks,
your eyes bleed.
Yeah.
At this point in time.
Yeah.
She's really mad, and tells Harry that he has the second favor to give, and he needs to go find John Marconi. And of course, Harry isn't very happy about that. At which point in time, at the end of the discussion, Mab basically starts to freeze his eyeballs and convinces Harry that if he wants to keep living, he'll do what he promised her that he would do, which is follow through on the 3 favors.
Yeah, and he's already done one.
And he's already done one. That's right. He's already done one, and he has to find Marconi, who's been kidnapped by. As it turns out, he's been kidnapped by the Denarians.
Yeah, because at this point he's a signatory of the Unseelie Accords,
and the Denarians are not happy about that. We find out. Yeah. We find out later more about why that is, but at this point in time, all we find out about is that Nicodemus and his wife Tessa and 3 or 4 other of the Denarians are all in Chicago, and they have kidnapped John Marconi.
Yep.
And so Harry, after he escapes the second bunch of gruffs, the little baby gruffs, the second group are the older brothers. There's 2 of them or 3 of them. No, I think there's only 2 in the second group, but they have machine guns, so that helps.
Yeah.
And so it goes through a great scene of him being chased through Chicago by these older gruffs in the middle of a snowstorm and sliding down a tall building in one of the abutments. As far as that, it's good. Read that part. It's really cool. And so he's at a point now where he has to reach out to the White Council and then to the archive to adjudicate this breach of the Unseelie Accords,
which is basically like their rules. It's kind of like NATO kind of ish. You know what I mean? Like it's like, you don't touch these people, and if you do, like you're gonna get the wrath of Thor. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like that. Except the Denarian stealing Marconi's kind of like the person who has all the nuclear weapons stealing somebody, and you're trying to go after a very powerful group, which is wild. So they bring in Ivy,
and it's not really clear why they've captured Marconi in the first place, other than the fact that they're ticked off that he signed on to the Unseelie Accords as a mortal.
That would have been fun to read yesterday when there was a snowstorm in Chicago.
It's like all winter, every winter.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, but Marconi's a mortal, which is he's the only mortal member of the Unseelie Accords.
Correct. He is. There are no other mortals who are signatories. And that doesn't mean, you're not just a member. You sign on as the head of a group, if you will, when you're one of the signatories of the Accords.
Yeah.
So, Marconi is, as far as the Denarians are concerned, he's sticking his head up above the wall, and he shouldn't be.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's not really the reason why they've kidnapped him.
Yeah.
And so Harry goes to, along with Michael, he's recruited Michael because Michael is obviously the side of good that's opposed to the Denarians.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, Michael is still in town. He does get sent out of town.
Yeah, but you forgot one part.
Go ahead, jump in.
Murphy at McAnally's was the gruff.
That's a good scene.
Listen, okay, so obviously Dresden's in trouble. He wants to talk to Murphy about stuff.
Yep.
And guess who finds him at McAnally's, which is neutral territory. It's like it's a corded neutral territory. It means no fluffery can happen on the grounds. The gruff comes in to the bar.
The bigger brother.
Yes, comes in and challenges.
Hold on. Do you have to describe what this gruff looks like?
Okay, you describe it. What it looks like.
Go ahead. You got the lead.
All I wanted to talk about was how Murphy handled this, but you can describe the gruff.
And so the third level of gruff brother comes in. So Harry's already defeated and used iron against the two younger groups of gruffs.
Yeah.
And so the third brother, or the third level of brother, I should say, kind of wedges himself in. So this gruff is like 12 feet tall. He literally, and he has horns on top of, because Billy Goat's gruff, they have the head of a goat. And, but this gruff goes about 900 pounds. He barely fits through the door. He breaks the ceiling fans in McAnally's bar. And literally is like King Kong.
Yeah.
He looks like King Kong. And basically challenges Dresden to a duel. Dresden convinces him, look, these grounds have been declared neutral territory and you can't fight me here. So he offers to take Dresden outside.
Yeah, and then Murphy...
And Dresden doesn't know. He's really kind of stuck because
he's gonna get slaughtered by this
he's
group.
Gonna get crushed by this guy.
Because they channel like magical stuff too. Like, aren't they slightly magical, not just like?
No, they definitely. I mean, they obviously are. As it turns out, when we get to the fourth level, anyways, that's for later.
Yes, but Murphy basically steps in, and I say steps in. You have this oversized King Kong, and then Harry Dresden, who's like 6'9", 6'8" or 6'9", and Murphy's like 4'11", like 5 foot nothing.
Yep.
And she steps in, and she's like,
and she convinces the gruff, first of all, that she has authority there because she's a police person,
right? And that Harry's under her authority as a citizen of Chicago. So she basically goes legal jargon on him. Of like who she's sworn to protect and stuff.
Right. And so she's going to protect him, and she's going to shoot the gruff if he threatens Harry because she's in charge, not the gruff.
Yes.
And she's standing on her authority, and as a result, so the gruff is sitting there thinking back and forth, trying to figure out, okay, well that means that you're going to break the accords and. So she goes lawyer on him and convinces him that if he attacks a designated lawful police person or policewoman in Chicago, that he's effectively declaring war in Chicago. And as a result of that, she and the city of Chicago are going to be at war. In the midst of this, the gruff backs down.
Yeah, because she breaks his brain, basically.
Yeah.
The way that Jim Butcher writes it, she's like going hard for him, and she literally doesn't take a pause. Like I think also the cool thing about Murphy is she totally believes everything like that she is as a police officer, like, and stuff. And then she also knows how sneaky the magical side is. So she just...
Yeah, she does now.
She lays it down, and she breaks his brain, basically.
Yep. So
he's like, okay.
And so he's fine with that because he knows he can always come back and get Harry later.
Yeah.
Harry still hasn't figured out how they keep finding him.
Yeah.
Not yet. Not yet. He does in a little bit, but he hasn't figured it out yet. And so he agrees to he agrees to walk away this time, but he tells Harry the next time it's going to be basically a duel to the death. The Gruff are supposed to kill Harry. They're supposed to take him out because the Summer She don't want Marconi helping or being helped by the Winter She. They're always at odds regardless.
Yeah, they basically do anything in opposition to Winter. So
needless to say, Harry, gets protected by Murphy, which is a comical scene in the book, and they go off. They escape that potentially catastrophic battle with no scars and no wounds.
And then Harry uses his brain next.
Yeah.
Because he has to go, because he's like, guard is magical. And he's like, you must have Marconi's blood somewhere as a backup because you wouldn't let one of your clients that you were hired to protect disappear. So
exactly. He realizes that she's got a way to track all the key people in Marconi's organization, including John.
Yeah.
And he wants it.
Yeah. Because how easy is that just to use
now,
someone's
Guard
blood?
has been seriously wounded at this point in time. She's recuperating at Michael's house.
Yeah, she's literally like putting her stomach, she was filleted in her abdomen by one of the Denarians. And because Guard and Hendricks were hiding out in one of the safe houses, the Denarians attack. She survives, but she's like putting her intestines back and into her, and then Hendricks helps take her to Michael's house, but she's very wounded and cannot do anything.
Yeah, is literally super gluing her stomach shut.
Yeah.
In an earlier chapter in the book, we know that. I mean, she's a Valkyrie, so she's near immortal, and she's a badass. We know that.
Yeah.
But this is just further proof that she's not someone that they want to mess with.
Sure.
Having said that, at this point in time, she agrees to give Harry the box or the information.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a key to a locker at the station there in Chicago.
And she tells him something though.
And she tells him, don't just make sure that neither you nor anyone you care about is looking at the locker when you open it. So Harry knows that there's something there that's going to blow up in someone's face if and when they open the locker. But he's committed to going to get the information or the box, which has the blood sample, so that he can use it to track John Marconi.
Yeah.
And he's also there at the terminal to pick up the emissary.
Yeah, Ivy.
Ivy comes in.
And Kincaid.
Ivy, Kincaid, and Captain Lucio come in.
Yep.
Because they're going to be the ones who basically are the emissary between the Denarians and the White Council about the conflict that's going on.
Yeah. Really quickly, Ashley Jones just sent her first super chat. It said, no clue what's happening, but I wanted to say a small thank you for keeping my corgi, Lillian, baby, and I company during late nights. He is 10 weeks old today. We watch old lives at odd hours. Oh, another baby snark. We love that. Thanks so much.
Corgi, you can put a baby corgi in your pocket.
Yeah, but no, but she, it's her corgi and a baby.
Oh, both. Look. So
no,
yeah, you don't
corgi,
want to put the babies in the same.
Corgi, Lillian, comma, baby, comma,
and
I.
Well, I can't. All I see is a yellow blur up there. I don't have my contacts in.
Oh.
I mean, I do have my contacts in. So if my contacts are there, I use contacts for close, and so it's too far away.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you want to make sure that the baby's in a different pocket than the corgi is because of all that
god,
fur and hair and stuff like that. Yeah.
Ashley, ignore him. Thank you for the super chat. Dear God. We do need the corgi pictures in the Discord, and if you haven't joined Discord yet, here's the link to join over on YouTube. If you're a member. If you're not a member, you won't be able to get in because
which I'm not a member because I tried to find the videos and I couldn't find them because they're apparently all hidden.
No, they're not hidden. They're public.
That's what it said.
Okay.
I can't see any streams that are hidden.
Okay, I'll help you. I'll help you after the stream. We'll figure it out.
Well, but technically on my phone, I'm not a member.
I know, but
Only
not
on my iPad am I a
a
member.
lot of the videos aren't members only.
Okay.
This is not members only. This is free. This is we've got Instagram up and Facebook, so this is not members only. So yeah. You can click on that link to join the Discord if you're a member. Okay. Sorry. They go to the train station to pick people up. And guess who meets them at the train station?
Bad guys.
The bad guys.
So Winter sends some, which is weird that these would be Winter bad guys.
Yes. Very strange. Because he's doing a job for Queen Mab.
A job for Mab.
Yep.
He's basically on Mab's side in this. And why Winter minions would come against him. But having said that, they work through it all. Of course, Brother Gruff shows up again.
Yep.
In the midst of this. So they're fighting the minions who hate Summer too. So they're fighting against Harry. They're also fighting against Summer. There's this epic battle again between the Gruff, who's gigantic, and these minions that are there for Winter. And the Gruff is chasing down Harry while Michael is off fighting against the minions and eventually going after to protect Ivy and the rest of the group that's coming in on the train. And he opens up the locker.
On who?
On Brother Gruff.
Yeah. It's
so
awesome.
Brother Gruff is chasing him, 1,000 pounds of Gruff is chasing after Harry. He opens the locker and basically Gruff gets transmuted by a bolt of lightning. It literally blows his leg off below the knee.
Oh my God.
And takes Brother Gruff out of the fight. Now it doesn't kill him. Harry actually sends him back to Summer.
Yeah.
And Gruff, as one of his last words, tells him that his big brother's going to be after him.
Oh, geez.
His older brother's going to be after him, and watch out for that.
Yikes!
And so,
imagine a bigger Gruff than Gruff 3.
Yeah. So Harry is like gulp, but he does have the box, and which has Marconi's blood, and he also has figured out by this point in time how they're tracking him.
Yeah.
And so he puts Mr. on it.
I love it.
It's a great meme.
Wait, is Bob in Mr. or does Mr.
No.
Mr.'s
doing all by himself.
Okay.
Basically, he puts the pin in a bag of catnip and hangs it over the, what does he call it? Model Chicago, baby Chicago. Yep. He's got a model of Chicago down in his sub basement.
That's magical.
Yes. I mean, he's used it before. He's used it. In fact, in the previous scene or the previous book, he used it to track the Gray Cloak.
Yeah.
And so he puts it hanging over the model of Chicago on a rubber band, and Mister's down there trying to grab at it and catch it. And, he's on drugs down there, basically, catnip and cats. So it basically sends the Gruffs and everyone from Winter searching all over the city for Harry because the pin is how they're tracking him.
Yeah. So with how little Chicago works, it looks like Harry's just moving all around.
As soon as the pin gets within a certain distance of Chicago, probably a few inches, it sends off the tracking spell, so that's where Winter thinks he is. And so he jumps around all over the place, apparently, and keeps them chasing their tails for the better part of the rest of the book.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Until the very end.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, the aquarium's next? I don't know which. Yeah,
the aquarium's next.
Yeah.
So because they're still trying, because the aquarium is really where it gets real. We find out now finally what the Daenerys were really after.
But Ivy is a child that it has the entirety of knowledge of everything,
written knowledge,
written
correct,
knowledge
of
in
mankind.
her brain, and it gets passed down from mother to daughter.
She's called the archive.
The archive. Harry calls her Ivy because he feels like everybody should have a name, which is kind of cool. So they've been friends for a while.
Yeah.
Ivy gets brought in because she's going to be the neutral party to keep the Denarians and everybody else in check, because she's powerful enough. She knows all of magic, everything, and it is should we say that? This whole thing was a setup to get Ivy in the first place.
Yep.
It wasn't about Marconi. It was about getting Ivy. And so they knew that Marconi was the best person to get because he's mortal. He's the weakest of the holders of the Unseelie Accords.
And it wouldn't be necessarily bad to have him pick up a coin either.
Yeah, like as a bonus, but like they were doing this for Ivy.
But they were doing it for Ivy.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, there's really a whole bunch of Denarians in town. So they agreed to do this at the Shed Aquarium in Chicago.
Yep.
Which is downtown. And in the middle of this winter blizzard, they're going to meet there. And as it turns out, the Denarians have set a trap for Ivy. They're gonna capture her, and the whole meeting is really a gigantic ambush.
Yeah.
And Dresden figures it out in the middle of it.
Yeah, and so Ivy and Dresden team up to fight the Denarians. They kill almost all of them.
Before that, though,
right?
Before that, we find out that Dresden has been given some additional power.
Oh yeah, Soulfire.
So Uriel, who's the angel kind of in charge of Michael and the whole that whole group. Not that Michael the Archangel isn't necessarily one of one of the ones that runs the Knights of the Cross, but Uriel is the one that we find out he's one of the archangels from the Bible. He actually does show up in the Bible. He's the angel of death, and
that's pretty cool.
And so, but in the midst of that, Uriel decides when Harry gives up Lashio, he also gives up his ability to use the demonic fire that he's been using in his spells.
Yep.
So that goes away when he willingly gives up Lashio. And so, unbeknownst to Harry, Uriel has granted what's called Soulfire, which is the angelic opposite of Hellfire that Harry was using when Lashio was around, as a replacement for that. And it actually supercharges his spells as well.
Yeah.
So what Soulfire does, according to the book, is it uses part of your soul and amplifies the spells. He actually uses it to deal with one of the Denarians that he meets in the course of the battle in the aquarium, and Soulfire is going to show up again and again and again for Harry. It's a part of him going forward that he can use with the spell. But what he realizes, or what Bob tells him, is that if he needs to be careful of using Soulfire, because it actually uses part of his soul when he implements it. And if he doesn't let it get replaced, he eventually can use up his whole soul and he would die. So, yeah, that was kind of important to find out about in the instructions. But he's a guy and doesn't read instructions anyway, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's a big battle in the aquarium. Ivy does get captured at the very end. Harry is trying to save her. It actually looks like that Harry might not be on the side of the good guys, just based on from the outside looking in, because his friends, Michael, Murphy, all these folks that are helping them, see all these instances of Harry being involved, and they're starting to wonder whether or not there's something wrong with Harry. And
we know, yeah,
and they're really concerned because they're seeing behavior that would lead them to wonder what's going on.
Yeah.
Harry is feeling very defensive about this because he doesn't think there's anything wrong with him.
Yep.
In fact, he knows there's nothing wrong with him.
Yeah.
And but I guess the juxtaposition, the point it gets to is Harry is the last person that Ivy connects with. They find when they go in to finally get in to the Denarians, because they've been protected by Hellfire this whole time. So none of Harry, Michael, Sonya, who's the other Knight of the Sword, Knight of the Cross, I should say. They can't get in. Kincaid is inside already, trying to protect Ivy. But they find one of the Denarians trying to pull Harry out of the water, and Ivy gone.
Yeah, and we find out that the reason the Denarians were pulling him out of the water because they still think that he has the coin.
Yeah, they still think he has.
They've never met anybody who has refused a coin and still has all of their magical stuff intact. Like they've never come across it. But the reality is, they know that
there's got to be some. The other Denarians. Here's one of those situations where there's a disconnect. Okay. Because the Denarian, the angelic version, the fallen angel version of the Denarians, not the physical person, but the angel side, they can tell the other fallen angels. So the fallen angels, for all the Denarians that are there, would know that Lashiel wasn't there.
Yeah,
they would know that. In fact, in another book, it talks about the fact that Anduriel is going to realize that the other Denarian is going to realize that Anduriel isn't there in another book. And so the reality is that the Denarians, they see each other in their element.
Yeah.
So the ones that were there would know that Lashiel wasn't there with Harry.
Yeah. I wonder why. Like, I wondered then why they pulled him.
So that's one of those situations where you have to wonder what's going on. It's a little bit of a disconnect.
Yeah,
that's all.
Sure.
But there are moments of that throughout the books where you say, "Oh, this would happen if that were really the case," because of other times in the series where that shows up.
Yeah, but so Harry gets rescued by the knight or whatever, the people who are outside. They go to Michael's house, and Harry's getting all defensive that all of his friends are, questioning him, don't believe in him. And Michael asks him, "Where's your blasting rod?" Yeah,
Michael takes him out to the woodshed, so to speak, to the workshop.
And then he passes out. Because doesn't Harry doesn't his brain
Yeah, he almost goes into shock. He almost gets frozen up because he realizes that he's been mentally manipulated. And in fact, his blasting rod he doesn't know where it is, and he doesn't have it.
Yeah, because he hasn't been using it the entire book.
Since he met Mab.
Yep.
And as it turns out, Mab took away his blasting rod because
of Summer.
What was it about Summer and his blasting rod that caused that?
She was going to be able to tell where any heat was in winter, and so she was trying to keep Harry hidden from Summer as long as possible.
Exactly.
So
she took away his blasting rod because of the fact that she didn't want him broadcasting his presence to Summer while he was looking for Marconi. She knew that Summer was going to continue to be after him, and she wanted to do as much as she could to hide him from the Summer forces that were going to be out there looking for him. Yeah. But Harry didn't realize that, but he did realize at that point in time that he had been manipulated. And so he apologizes and now understands what it is about his behavior that was sending off those vibes to his friends.
Yeah. And then he goes in because Ivy though, right after that scene, he's realizing I can get a message to Ivy because she has all knowledge of all things that are written down from every human. So he tells her that he's coming for her. And so she knows to like hold on and not,
Exactly.
and that she can trust him because he's always been there for her. And
At the same
So-
time, too, the Knights had a huge win because they killed like 12 or 13 of the Denarians,
yeah,
and they got their coins.
yeah,
So between the coins they have and the coins they think that the church has, they realize that there's only 6 more coins in the whole world that are out there.
yeah. And Michael starts thinking he could retire, and
They start talking about the fact that they're really almost at the end of their journey, and they're going to be able to stop having to be Knights of the Cross, and on and on and on and on.
And Harry
And then
debunks that like hope. He
And-
just blows it out of the water. He's like, no, we're gonna trade all the coins and a sword to the Denarian so we can get Ivy back. Because if Ivy gets a coin, the world is over.
it's a massive problem.
Yeah.
But and so he meets with Nicodemus. Nicodemus decides he doesn't want all that stuff. And then Harry says, well, what if I throw in the swords, both swords? I'll bring both knights there when we meet together. And they agree to set up the epic meeting that's going to happen in the book, where things culminate and come to a head.
Yeah.
And they agree to meet on the island.
Oh yeah.
So they go out to the island. Now, that's the first time they've ever been to the island, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the first time they've ever been to the island.
Yep.
The island is going to show up again and again and again in the series. It becomes a very important place for Harry. So but they're going to go to the island to meet, and the island is a place where there's a spirit that has caused a whole town to go crazy and leave.
Yeah.
That is very protective of this island, and there's something going on in the island.
Yeah. So only animals can live there, and no humans can live there.
Yeah, humans they can't stay there.
Yeah.
And we don't find out why for a few books.
Yeah. So, yep.
And it's very creepy, needless to say.
Oh my
So they
God.
decide that they're going to go out there and save Marcone and save Ivy, but they have to be sure that they're going to go to the right place. So in the midst of a bunch of kind of a Godfather kind of a in the Godfather the movie and the book, where they're trying to figure out where they're going to meet so they can do their counter weasel strategy. They cross over the bridge towards New Jersey and then jump the island and go back, so they make sure they aren't being followed. They do the same thing with this. They drive around for a while and eventually get on a boat and go ahead.
I'm gonna make sure that the dogs are inside because the lawn people are here.
Okay. So they do all this rigmarole, but Harry has previously determined that they're going to be out there on the island because that's where the ley lines, the strongest ley lines show up, and that the other ley lines that are potentially as strong and needed for the magical circle where they're going to hold Ivy. That's one of the only places close enough to Chicago where that can be the place where they've got her held. And he's hoping that that's also the place where they have Marcone held, but they have to be sure before they implement their plan to save everybody. So sure enough, as it turns out, that is the place. They go out in a boat. They're going to get on the island. They cross over to the island and go up and meet with the Denarians and have the final battle.
Yeah.
To basically save Ivy. They find out that Marcone's there.
Yeah.
And in the midst of the battle, they pull out all the stops. The good news is they end up saving Ivy and they save Marcone. The bad news is in the midst of that, Michael gets badly wounded.
Yeah.
And frankly is on his deathbed.
Yeah.
In the midst of this. And
Harry's pissed.
And not only is Harry pissed, but Harry has also brought he's used fire magic there. So even though his little pin isn't with him,
yeah,
he's brought fire magic, and he uses fire magic there on the island, and
So Summer knows where he is.
so Summer knows where he is. That's not good because chances are the Gruff is going to show up, but they've got to escape. They've actually got a plan to escape, and that's when Michael gets severely wounded. They fly in on a helicopter. Guards fly in the helicopter. Murphy's on the helicopter. They bring that in. They bring everybody up. Michael gets pulled up before Harry does, and that's when he gets shot.
And Harry feels like it should have been him.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
But the reason he sent Michael up is because Guard, who's a Valkyrie, is looking at Michael on the battlefield, and he realizes in the midst of that that might be a presage of his death.
Yeah.
And so he wants to get Michael out of there sooner rather than later.
Yeah, because she can see like the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no. So basically the deal is with Valkyries is that they can identify people on a battlefield who are going to die.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That's one of the things about Valkyries in mythology that one of their powers.
Mm.
And so when she looks at him and has that look on her face, Harry realizes that there's something imminently going to happen relative to Michael that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So Michael goes up, and the helicopter gets shot, and they have to escape, and Harry's left on the island.
Yeah.
Getting away from all the Denarians on the island.
Yep.
And as it turned out, older brother Gruff, who shows up.
Yeah.
While he's escaping.
Yeah.
And it's over about a chapter, you realize that Gruff is coming. These gigantic footsteps are resounding through this boathouse that he's hiding in, and Gruff ends up fighting. The eldest brother ends up. You don't see it. You don't physically. It's not visible in the book, if you will, quote unquote.
Yeah.
It's outside the boathouse, but he fights with Magog. One of the other Denarians, and kills him.
Yeah, which is the fact that Gruff is just like takes out a Denarian. Oh my god!
And so it definitely, you have all this anxiety, and then obviously Gruff is coming into the boathouse. You hear this big, earthquake resounding thump of his footsteps, and he shows up, and he's like 4'5". He's this little tiny Gruff in a cloak. That's the good news. The bad news is that on his cloak he's got 3 or 4 robes, portions of robes from wizards of the senior council.
Yeah.
So he's obviously been in duels with other wizards before
and won. With
At
senior
least
council.
3 senior council wizards, and he's beaten them.
Yeah.
So, Harry might be going up a weight class in this.
Or 12.
He's in trouble. He's definitely in trouble.
Yeah.
And he does the ultimate weasel in this. He and Gruff really connect. I mean, Gruff starts asking Harry about why. Oh, I think I broke you.
You just broke the Halloween ring.
Oh my gosh.
You're fine.
And he starts in the course of the conversation with eldest brother Gruff. He asks questions about our eldest Gruff asks him a question about Queen Mab and why did Queen Mab do something. And Harry makes a comment that he can't even understand mortal women, never mind she women, and he's the last person he should ask. And they both start laughing, and it's really it's a very funny scene.
No, but he was even like he was saying eldest Gruff made a sound,
Yeah.
and he realized
he's laughing like a donkey. Oh. It was good. It was really good. And so Harry decides to weasel his way out by using the pen.
Yep.
And Gruff says, well, I can, he said, I have to honor the pen, but I can't do anything as serious as decide not to battle you because I've been given this task by my queen.
Yeah.
And I need to honor that. And so And so Harry, being the typical weasel that he is, he says, well, I'm not going to ask you to not fight me. He said, I would ask you to go get something for me. And he sends him after a Chicago,
A fresh
original donut with white frosting and sprinkles on it. Knowing that Gruff would have to go and actually get that from someplace in Chicago,
and it's after hours.
And
There's no donut place open.
He'd have to wait until the donut shop's open in order to be able to find it. And the Gruff loves it. He loves it because he realizes, because as soon as Marconi's off the island, the war with Summer's over. In other words, at that point in time, he doesn't have to continue to chase after Harry. It would have been a moot point if he had to continue after Harry, because Harry wasn't going to beat Gruff.
Right.
We know that based on the description. Harry was not going to be able to beat Gruff. But because he did that, he pushed the duel out far enough that Harry would be off the island by that point in time. And it was such a great weasel.
It's one of my favorite scenes. I mean, there's so many good scenes, but like, it's just one of those things that's like, it's so Harry to get out of another like she situation by asking for a donut. You know what I mean? Like, it's just awesome. It's just awesome.
And so and so sure enough, Gruff takes off, and Harry is now free to go back to the boat and leave. Only problem is when he jumps in the boat, Nicodemus is on it.
And Deirdre.
No. Deirdre isn't on the boat. Deirdre is on the island. He goes on the boat and fights against Nicodemus. And he's realized at this point in time that Nicodemus can't be killed by any mortal means or magical means at that point in time. But the only thing he is potentially susceptible to is the rope around his neck. The hangman's noose that he wears around his neck like a necktie is the only thing that potentially can threaten Nicodemus. And so Harry proceeds in a fight against Nicodemus to choke him unconscious, hopefully, and kill him. And he gets to the point where he actually overcomes Nicodemus, and Deirdre and the other human minions of Nicodemus are running down the hill. Harry throws Nicodemus's body into the water, which is where Deirdre goes. So Deirdre jumps off the land into the water to try to save her father.
I thought she was on the boat. I thought he was
boat.
escaping Rosanna, like on Rosanna's boat, and that Nicodemus and Deirdre were.
No, Deirdre was never. Deirdre was not on the boat. She was on land.
Okay.
She had come back. She was in the battle on the hilltop.
Okay.
And so, but they were all searching for him because they knew he was still left on the island, which is why Magog was after him and Deirdre. And so Nicodemus goes down to the boat.
Okay.
Harry and Nicodemus fight on the boat, the only ones on the boat.
Okay.
He ends up taking off on the boat, and Deirdre jumps in to save her father, and meanwhile sends the rest of the group of humans after Harry, and they get off in the three rubber rafts and chase him, shooting at him and stuff like that, to the point where right before they capture him, they get saved by Thomas and Murphy.
Okay. Wendy, your buddy from your document days, is in the chat.
Hey, Wendy. Happy New Year.
She said, like the army hat.
So in the midst of all that, Harry's back. He wakes up on land. He actually wakes up in Chicago, gets picked up by Thomas, goes into the truck. Thomas has got a big SUV, jumps in, and what's there on the dashboard?
What is there on the dashboard?
What's on the dashboard?
I don't remember.
A bag.
Is there a donut in there?
Yeah.
Oh.
So there's a cup of coffee and a donut.
Nice. Oh my God.
And of course, he doesn't tell Thomas where he gets it from. So Thomas is pissed at him as usual.
Oh, and then he goes to the hospital. Remember?
Yes.
and he gets into an argument with the janitor.
Yes and no. He does get in an argument. There's a discussion.
Well, I mean, as much as you can argue with an archangel
Well, it's
in a janitor's body, it's a janitor. It's Uriel's in the janitor's body.
Correct.
So,
Correct. It's
and
Uriel.
who's reading the Two Towers.
Yes.
But I don't remember what passage he had marked, because remember he said there's a specific passage that was marked in the book. What passage was it?
I don't remember now.
Hey Siri, what part of the Two Towers did Uriel mark in the Harry Dresden book Small Favor?
Here's what I found.
Oh, Shelby, do you remember? I don't remember.
It's in there. We just have to open up the book.
Okay, well, I don't have the book on my phone.
Do
Do you have the book over there?
I think so.
All right, I'll go look.
I think so.
You keep talking. Michael's in surgery.
Yeah,
Harry's
Michael's
pissed.
but basically almost dead. He's got shrapnel in his eye. He's got in his heart. His organs have been lacerated. He's in tough shape. His leg has been shattered. Oh no.
Oh, it's right here. I know. There you go.
Okay.
I'll look for it.
So yes, Michael's dying, and Harry goes down to the chapel. It is the same chapel that 𝐔𝐒𝐄 was killed in.
I would just open up to the part in the gruff when I said gruff. I said I find myself largely clueless about why mortal women do what they do. It will take a wiser man than me to understand what's in a fey woman's mind.
That's such a great line.
Okay, let's see. I'm looking for it.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the last few chapters in there.
Yeah.
Because he's got
Hospital took charity. I'm looking.
But he doesn't realize that the janitor is Uriel until the end, until he leaves. Until he leaves and after the comment.
Yeah.
But it's a
Jake, the janitor.
yeah, that's right. The janitor's called Jake.
Hold on.
So it's going to be the
One page was dog-eared and a bit of dialogue underlined in pencil. The burned hand teaches best. I read aloud. What the hell is that supposed to mean? That's what he said. And then Grimalkin's in the
yeah.
hospital
Well, so after Uriel leaves, Mab shows up.
yeah. Yeah. The burned hand teaches best.
But there's another. I think there's another place in there.
Okay, so you can look at it then.
Okay.
That's what it said, though. It said the burned hand teaches best, and then it goes to Grimalkin in the next paragraph. Oh, look at his fancy glasses.
Yeah, these are the clips.
He's the new one, so he can just put it around his neck.
Dun, dun, dun.
We've reached maximum woodworker status.
Yep.
We're trying to find it.
Hold on.
Do 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 do.
But now, so bring us to the end when he goes into Ivy at the end, because that was a cool thing too.
All right, I know that Dresden visited Ivy and Kincaid at Murphy's house at the end.
Yeah.
But I don't remember
So the wardens were keeping Ivy asleep
oh.
because they were afraid of her response, and they didn't want to expose anyone
To the wrath of all magical knowledge.
And
Yeah.
so they were keeping her isolated and alone.
Yeah.
And Dresden wanted to treat her like a little girl,
Yeah.
like a 12-year-old girl. which
Yeah.
she was.
Yeah.
And show her friendship and
humanity
and understanding and love and caring and those types of things.
Yeah.
And as the right approach to take.
Yeah.
And as it turned out, that was exactly what she needed.
Yeah.
They wanted to keep her. The council wanted to keep her isolated, and then Kincaid comes in.
Yeah.
And he definitely treats her like kind of like a big brother or a dad or whatever the case might be, and watches over her and cares for her and protects her. And as it turns out, Ivy's one of Dresden's big supporters.
Yeah.
Even though she's limited by what she can say and do, she's a big supporter of Dresden and helps him significantly down the road.
Yeah. I mean, she saved him multiple times too. And then the duel, when the Red Court broke the rule or the whatever, Duke Ortega broke the rules at the baseball field, and then she helped take out all of the, I mean, that's what she was supposed to do if either side broke the rules, but she's helped him a ton. But also she loves cats, and she loves going through the drive-thru at McDonald's, and Kincaid normally takes her at the end of missions or whatever. And so she's a mix of all knowledge and a kid. Did you find it?
What's that? So the burn hand teaches best is
What they underlined.
Is the underlined comment.
Yeah.
It gets back to what Mab said earlier, is that she talks about first of all, the Jake is talking to Harry.
Right.
And he talks about the fact that you got to think that it's a matter of balance about why he is or isn't being helped.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that maybe one archangel invested his strength in the situation overtly and immediately. That was Satan.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one archangel with the hellfire. And maybe another one was just quieter about it, thinking long term. Maybe he already gave you a hand.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the spell, the spell that he used against Namthiel. That was the spell that he used. He used the silver hand that was choking him, and he used to beat him up and stuff like that, and turn him unconscious.
Yeah.
And he said, so then said the burn hand teaches best was a reference not only to the hand, but also to the fact that Harry's burned hand, what he learned there, what he gained from Lashiel, and how that progressed to where he was now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I still feel I still understand, I guess, as the character is written, his frustration that more couldn't have been done to help Michael because Michael gave and gave and gave
But as it
so
turns
much.
out, what does it say in the books later about Michael's being saved in surgery?
That it was miraculous.
It was miraculous.
Mm.
So we're led to believe that perhaps there was some intervention there.
Okay.
But what we do know is this: Michael chose to do what he did.
That's true.
So he chose to be there on the island. He chose to go in there, and so that in his function, not only he was obviously functioning as a Knight of the Cross, but we know that Knights of the Cross can die. Shiro chose to die. He chose to put himself in a vulnerable situation and didn't get saved by an archangel in that scenario.
Right, but he also had cancer too.
We find that out later,
right?
But the reality is that we learn from Uriel later in the books that he's very limited when it comes to free will.
Yeah,
when someone does something from a free will perspective, Uriel has some very, very specific guardrails on him. Like when when Michael wants to step outside the gate, and I'm not going to say any more about that.
Right.
You know, Uriel couldn't support Michael there.
Right.
He couldn't do something for Michael because Michael was choosing to do something. So what he did is he chose to change himself and put himself at risk to give Michael the power to be able to step out of the gate when he did.
Right.
So
Yeah.
So there's a lot of very strict rules that Uriel has to follow in the midst of being a quote unquote all powerful archangel.
It's just frustrating because the bad side seems to get to break the rules whenever they want to, and the good side
with the underline on seems, you're exactly right. Just like the bad side spoke to Harry in changes, and Uriel was only allowed to speak 7 words back to him.
Right. Yeah. I know. I'm just saying it's just a frustration. Like, it's just like you have two kind of all-ish powerful sides, and one side is like being awful all the time. And then the good side has to be more strategic and everything because they don't interfere in free will.
And this is where the books themselves have a good foundation, because the thing about books, the thing about building an imaginary universe is that you have to have consistency. The books are built on a foundation of the laws of whatever that universe is.
Sure.
And when you build that universe and you have those laws, where people struggle with books is when they break those laws outright.
Sure.
When okay, I'm just going to wave a magic wand as the writer of this book, and I'm going to make Uriel be able to do this and this and this.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the things that Butcher does really well is he builds his universe and then causes it to and then forces it to function within that universe. So if they're going to find a way out, it has to be within the context of the laws that they've built over the course of their, at this point in time, 10 books. And I think most books that do a good job of creating their story and telling their story, and this is true in movies too, when books or movies break their own laws, they create disconnects for the people either reading or watching them. The people get frustrated because we say, well, that couldn't happen like that. That shouldn't be the way that is in that. Even though good and evil, if good and evil are fighting, that's one thing. But if we make stuff up, if we create imaginary ways for the protagonist to get out of the situation, it creates a disconnect that takes you out of the story.
Yeah, I think I'm more saying in a general, if some of those rules are similar, like in real life, it is. I guess the rules in the book are frustrating. The rules in the book are frustrating because it's like, how come the bad people can break all the rules, and the good people can't break the rules? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just frustrated with that. It's a frustrating thing too.
Harry is too. Harry's frustrated with that exact same thing.
Yeah.
And it's like what Jake says. Maybe you're not seeing things the way that the other side does. Maybe you're seeing things according to your perspective. Maybe the other side has a perspective that has a longer term view for it, and you really have something that is of value.
Yeah.
It's certainly, we want good to win and evil to lose.
Sure.
But and Butcher does, fundamentally, he does too. But he wants to make it consistent within the structure of the universe that he's built.
Yeah.
And so like when Jake talks to Harry and says, well, Harry's railing at him, why are you letting a good man get hurt like that? You know,
Yeah.
he did all this stuff for you, and you should be helping him.
Right.
You know, why is the bad guy allowed to go in there and do all this stuff, and why can't the good guy come in and counteract that?
Yeah.
And Uriel, as Jake, makes that comment that I think is significant, because that's where the big picture of the books comes in, where you can start to see the thread through everything, where it all comes together, because you realize that there are those things happening, but you don't see them because you haven't trained your mind to look for them. And when you go back and look for them,
Mhm.
then it brings even more richness and even more layers to the narrative that you weren't thinking about. You know, Michael does in fact get healed. He's not perfect. He's human. He's injured. He comes back. But even later on in the series, he steps up in a way that you wouldn't have expected, but which fits within the context of the universe that he's built.
Yeah.
So you can buy into that.
Yeah. I guess I don't like buying into it.
Okay.
I just like wish I guess I wish in like a pretend world, like in real life. I'm not talking about the book. I wish like there were things like if good people had the power to fix things, that they could just fix them.
Mhm.
Or if people knew that good things could, I don't know. Like it's like, oh,
They
well,
want to wave a magic wand and just have it happen, huh?
oh yeah, I'd love to like wave a
Yeah.
magic wand and like have people not,
Hate each other.
hate each other or like die of starvation or
Exactly.
why am I crying? I wish like it wasn't. It's just a frustrating thing that it's like and I know perspective and stuff, but even in these books or whatever, even in real life, it's like there's all these conditions on like the good side doing stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
It's just I don't like buying into the idea. Just frustrating. Okay, I'm done
Okay.
crying.
All
I'm just
Okay.
I don't know. It's something that's frustrating too.
Okay. I hear
I
you.
like that he's consistent though. I do like it, and it's like it brings up real, struggles of. I think Harry struggles with things that people can relate with. You know what I mean? Like I think that's part of the what I like about the book. It's like it's a magical fantasy, whatever, and it's also real situations that you could see yourself in. It's like, are you gonna choose to do the right thing? And when you're faced with like being able to just tap out and do something that is self-serving but doesn't help others. Like I think you get a lot of those real situations.
Yeah. And we're going to get a lot more real situations going forward.
Yeah. So buckle up. Oh my gosh.
We should get like an extra gold star for this one. 'Cause
We were
talked
like
about the
on-
book the whole freaking time.
we were
no
on topic.
stories, no rambles, no squirrel trails, none of that stuff.
No setting desks on fire, no running off a bridge, no flying off the side of a hill in the snow with a saucer, no spilling milk on your friend who is deathly allergic to milk. Like what else have I done? God.
Yeah, all we have is dogs outside whining to get in.
Yeah. But rules create order, which creates a society. The absence of rules creates chaos. I guess that's what that's why the good guys have rules.
Well, the bottom line is, I mean, that's really the war that we're against is the war against chaos.
Oh God, my streams are kind of chaotic.
I mean, Harry, in the midst of Harry's world being a little bit of chaos, it is really trying to impose order on the things that Nemesis and the rest of the bad guys want to take apart. They're wanting to deconstruct the world.
Yeah, I guess I wish there. I know it's like, yeah, the bad guys are doing that. I wish there was a place where good people wanted to do things for the good of the world, and it wasn't about like just dismantling stuff for the purpose of chaos. You know what I mean? Like I wish there was. I know rules are important. I just wish like it's frustrating. Like I say frustrating when I read books about fantasy stuff and you bring in characters like angels and fallen angels and demons, and you have wizards and stuff like that, and the wizards have the potential to like do really good extra good things in the world.
Uh-huh.
And then they're also have a ton of rules about what they can and cannot interfere with. And it's like, you know, or even you talk about like those National Geographic like photographers or filmmakers or whatever, and they're supposed to just observe and document and stuff like that. And you see something bad happening with an animal and you can't step in and help them. You know what I mean? Like it's stuff like that. When you're there, you could help.
No, sometimes they do that, but
Yeah.
there is a law of unintended consequences too.
Yeah.
And you know, and we say, well, why shouldn't I be allowed to, you know, use these kinds of things in science if I can make a better place? And then we find out later that better place also brought in things that we didn't realize. You know, there's always a downside. There's always a reflection of whatever it is that we think is going to be good, because our perception of good is based on our worldview. And then we find out, well, maybe developing this benefit had some. It's not all the benefit that we think it is. It's part of our ability to be able to go through and make good choices, make wise choices about stuff, is the fact that it does require us to look at things from a lot of different perspectives.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, is it, you know, why is it that people have to die? You know, why does that happen? Why can't we live forever? And there's a great conversation early on with the necromancers about never dying. And yeah, that sounds great when you think about Gandhi living forever, or Jesus, or whomever. But then the flip side of that coin is there's a very real consequence for that part too. When you build a rule that says nobody ever dies, it doesn't mean only the good people get to live forever. Everyone gets to live forever.
Yeah.
And what does that look like?
Right.
So it's not as easy as sometimes we'd like to make it. You know, we'd like to wave the magic wand and have only good stuff happen.
Yeah, or I would love for good stuff to happen, but I'd also love like if people see something that's happening that they can help with, like that
they do that.
That they would do that. Yeah. Like if someone's, you know, getting beat up, that
you step in
and help them.
Yep,
or if if a kid at school is getting bullied, you're able to step in and speak up for that person.
So and
help them.
And so what that does is it causes you to say, well, I get to make a choice every day to live for the right thing. And what does that look like?
Yeah.
So as we go through life, sometimes we make choices that aren't good, that help us to figure out, oh, this isn't the way I want to behave. I want to behave like this going forward. And so, yeah, so I absolutely think that's a part of what causes us to live the life that we're called to live.
Yeah.
Is by learning how to behave through those situations differently. And when you do, you know, there's a benefit to that.
Yeah.
Because you cut a channel that causes you to behave like that more and more and more.
Yeah.
Flip side is true too. When we cut those channels that aren't good for us, it becomes difficult for us to deal with that. That's a part of why free will is such an integral item in our character. Is that we have the ability to make those choices every day. This is kind of getting to be a really deep, not very fun stream, huh? We're sitting here talking about really important stuff rather
like
than
donuts.
Wizards and donuts and magic pins. What in the heck? What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I didn't pay for this.
That's right.
I want a refund.
I want the alcohol. What's going on?
Oh my God. Miss Yvonne said, this is fun. This is perfect. You're the best.
Anyways. That's part of the reason why DC and I are so good together, I think, because she definitely brings the emotional side of pretty much everything. And I'm kind of a jerk when it comes to that. So
You
Yeah.
have you have a lot of the reason stuff and
That's
I really like that, and I do like your snark and your sarcasm, even though you try to burn my channel down every day.
not every day. I haven't been on for a month.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's coming back.
We
He's coming
turned
back
we
for the
turned
MLMs.
The 12 days of snarkness into the 4 days of snarkness.
It was 7 days of snarkness, and we tried so hard. Okay, we got busy during the holidays.
We did,
Yeah.
and it was a great time, and we enjoyed ourselves, and making progress. That's the important thing.
Yeah,
Making progress.
for sure. Well, it's been a good stream.
Next one is going to be even heavier
Two.
one.
Oh no, the next book.
Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah, next book.
But Toot's going to be back, allegedly, theoretically.
Yep. He is gonna be back.
Next Saturday?
He was like, I'm streaming next Saturday, and I was like, okay.
Oh, good.
So yeah.
Okay.
So my brother has. If you missed the other 9+ streams we've done on Harry Dresden, there's some on members only. There's some that are public. You can go watch those. And my brother Toot will be back.
He's a huge fan.
Yeah. Yep. So thanks for joining us. We'll.
Have a great rest of your weekend.
Oh, Eclectic Miwa said I'm on chapter 9 and it's rough so far of the next book.
Yes.
Yikes. All right. Thank y'all. Where is my outro? Miss Yvonne does this because I don't know where my outro is every time. Okay. Goodbye.